Welcome back to Park Winters. It's such a beautiful season, and I love sharing the beauty and the magic of these flowers because they unfold so fast, and also there's just like this wave of things happening, and it's almost like too much. And I don't like to travel too much in the spring because I don't want to miss any of this. And so it's been just, I've been in awe of the beauty of what's happening. And so one of the things that we do here is we grow lots of beautiful fresh flowers that people come and pick on the weekends, and they do pick your own bouquet experiences, which are really amazing. But part of what I want to share with you is that we also save dried flowers. Our ethos is to recycle, repurpose, and reuse. And so that segues into drying our flowers. And while we have beautiful fresh flowers that people come and pick and do fresh floral experiences picking their own bouquet, we also have an entire separate business of drying flowers. And drying them is a really interesting process, and I learned a lot by tips that other florists and gardeners have given me. The best way to learn is to attempt to do things and just try it, because certain flowers lend themselves to drying. Certain flowers you hang upside down and they work well, but there's other flowers that in order for them to dry properly, you have to dry them facing upwards with their stem going down so that they remain open instead of like this like creepy thing that goes downward. I'm going to bring you into the flower barn and show you what we're working with, things that we have learned that dry nicely, and some things that we're experimenting. So come with me, let me show you what's in here. Welcome to the flower barn. This is where we do creative classes, we arrange bouquets, and also, as you can see, this is where we dry our flowers that we use for our creative classes and for selling in our store. And so here we have this beautiful ammobium, winged everlasting. There's statice, which we just harvested this week as well. And right here we have the Lady of Shallot roses. And you know, when I talked about experimenting, these right here actually don't dry that orange beautiful color that I showed you outside, but they'll still dry beautifully. They'll dry more like a golden color. However, these Wallerton Old Hall roses do hold their color, and these will dry beautifully and nicely. And they're just there. We get them at their peak. It feels like a sin doing it, but because we have a billion of them, it's okay. And so these hold their color, and we have all sorts of things drying. And so it's already spring, and we've got nice amounts of stuff that's drying, and we haven't even begun yet. So it's going to be a fun year, drying things, sharing them with you. And I don't know about you guys, but like, look at these colors of these statice. You got purple, but then you have this beautiful little like light lavender color, and then this duck yellow. And we have all of it growing in the rows. And yes, these flowers are at their peak, but statice will last dry and beautiful for years, and so does this winged everlasting. So it's really cool. And also they have like a straw flower feel. It's like a little bit of ASMR, if you can like hear the little crunchiness. And then speaking of straw flowers, look at these, you know, so they're all in the same family. And when you crunch them, they have a sound, but these will stay dry just like this for years. And it's just amazing that you can dry flowers like this. I've been drying flowers for about 3 or 4 years now, and it's been a really cool journey learning about it. Prior to 3 or 4 years ago, when we started drying flowers at their peak, believe it or not, we had them in a pile and we would just burn our yard waste. And we've come a long way, and as I've elevated in my consciousness and in my awareness of what to do, now all of the waste of the flowers has become compost, and then most of the ones that aren't picked, then we cut them at their peak to dry. So I have several tips that I want to share with you of things that I've learned, and let me tell you, the first thing is you have to pick the flowers at their peak. When you are appreciating them, when you think that they're too beautiful to cut and dry, if you're drying flowers to work and do other projects with and you want them to be beautiful and have the utmost color, you dry them at their peak. Tip number 2, cut your stems at a nice length, because you can always make them shorter, but you can't make them longer. So I advise cutting them at least 18 to 24 inches. And the flowers, there's certain flowers that you can get as long as possible, and there's certain flowers that are shorter. But when you have the ability to cut like a nice piece that's 18 to 24 inches, you do that. And so I just like start with one, and that sets the size. And then I just kind of like quickly go through, and then I start harvesting these. And you just use the side of that one to measure. And, you know, before you know it, you know, it's really easy. Once you get going, you just pick them. And these ammobiums, they have 2 personalities, and I'd love to see what you all think. But see, they're white before they open, and they have this really dreamy little white magical blooms. But also, if you let them go a little longer, they have the yellow centers. So depending on what your project is and what it matches, you might want the yellow centers. I personally like to get them when they're only white, because the white makes it more flexible for other projects, and the yellow sort of brings you to a place where you have you're restrained to a certain color palette. So cut them nice and long so that you have something to work with. Like I said, you can always make them shorter, but you can't make them longer. Tip number 3, you dry your flowers either right side up or right side down. And it depends on the flower, and you'll learn by experimenting. For example, when we dry these ammobiums, winged everlasting, you can already see that these that I just harvested, they're just really droopy. And if you dry them upright, they're gonna dry weird like this. But so what you do is you dry them like this, and then once they harden, they'll stay in that position. This is a really nice example of this Queen Anne's lace, how it dried upright. And then this is an example of what you don't want to do, is when they flop over. So these flowers you hang upside down as well. However, when you work with sunflowers, rudbeckia, or zinnias, you want to dry them right side up. So see, this is an example of what not to do, because these rudbeckia were hanging downward, and they're kind of creepy looking like that. They're not very attractive. However, when you see them here, these right here, these were dried properly. And what I mean by properly when you're drying them right side up is we have a chicken wire screen that we have in a table, and we put the stems through it like this so that the flower opens upwards. So sunflowers, when you dry them, in order to not have the petals go forward and creepy, you put them into your chicken wire, and you put them into there like this, so that the flower is held upward like this, and then you get a nice finished product like that. So you'll know really quick which ones you dry upright or upside down. Tip number 4, you have to have the right climate to dry your flowers. For those of you who live in a humid climate, or like Florida where I'm from, I can't imagine drying flowers like we dry them, because here in California we have really dry weather, and when we hang our flowers from the barn, it's a nice dry climate, and it takes really between 3 to 5 days when they're done. And so you hang them, they dry at their peak, and they're beautiful. And I'm going to tell you tip number 5 is you store them in cardboard boxes in a cool, dry place, and they'll stay for months and some for several years at their peak. And then you can use them during the holidays, during the winter, when you wish you had flowers. And so you bring back the joy of the spring, not quite like what they look like when they're at their peak, but you do get to enjoy them. And so the world of dry flowers is amazing. And I'll be excited to share with you all the projects that we do throughout the year. So I hope you all are having a great day. I hope you're doing something creative, and I hope that you all are playing in your garden.